Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks so much for tuning in to Morning Cup of Merch. It's another episode. Oh, by the way, last week, and I think somebody was being funny. Last week, someone asked me what cup I was drinking from. It's very clear that I am a New Orleans Saints fan, and that was, in fact, a Saints cup. So this week, the cup that I'm actually drinking from is my alma mater, Alabama State University. Go Hornets, my ASU. And so each week you'll probably see a different. I'm a big coffee drinker, so each week you'll see a different cup just featured out. And eventually I'll start doing some morning cup of merch, coffee cup. So if it's, I mean, look, I'm a mercher. Why would I not do that? Uh, so, and obviously, if you're listening to this on a podcast, you can't see the cup, which is totally fine. That's why I give extra content on the podcast version that you won't get on Morning Cup of Merch. So if you want to see the cups that I'm doing, if you want to see the shirts that and other products that I'll be unboxing, then you want to watch this on YouTube. If you are listening to the podcast version, go over to YouTube. If you're on YouTube, listen to the podcast version. For instance, I give a trend of the week. That's the extra content. So I'm telling people about these trends that are hot selling and they're hot selling right now. And this is all part of. This is not even the stuff that I give away in ClubHouse. You know, I do a live research every week on ClubHouse, and so some of these things I just got to keep. You know, I want you guys to support the show. I want you to listen to the show. So let's get into it today. A lot of news, a lot of stuff going on in the print on demand world. It seems like 2021 for the tech space is really interesting when you consider everything going on. I don't know how many of you are investors, so everything going on with Robinhood, all the up and down with crypto and everything like that, and then now it's kind of seeped over into print on demand. So I'm pretty sure if you are a RedBubble user, you should know at this point that over the last few days, that Redbubble has terminated a ton of accounts. And some people are like, "Look, I didn't violate any terms of service. I didn't put up anything. I've been doing my account, no problem." But it's been a bunch, and so there's been so much speculation as to where it's coming from. Are all these terminations coming from a specific location? Are they coming from a specific country? And then the more you look into these groups and on the Reddit boards and on Twitter, it's no, this is impacting a lot of people. Now I'll be honest, it's gonna sound crazy. I was concerned, but I wasn't that concerned, only because and it sucks to say this. Since I've gotten into merch 4 years ago, I've neglected my Redbubble account. So any of the sales that come in from Redbubble, quite honestly, I'm grateful if I make 15, $20 for the month because I've not put as much into Redbubble as I put into Etsy or merch or Shopify. So I wasn't too much worried about it because I was like, okay, well, let me check. If it is indeed terminated, then, then that just kind of is what it is. I don't know why it would be, maybe I don't know. Everybody's getting a little more sensitive about the content that they're allowing on their platforms now. So maybe that's the case with it. So when I went and checked, no. As a matter of fact, I have two Redbubble accounts. Neither one of them were suspended. But it didn't really. It still made me wonder what the hell is going on. So Redbubble did put out a tweet yesterday, the second. It says, recently we identified an error that inadvertently suspended several user accounts. We apologize for the frustration that this has caused and are currently investigating the issue and working towards a swift solution. Thank you for your patience while we look into this matter. And that was at 7:07 p.m. Central Time on February 2nd. But I do want to break something down. There's something really interesting about that, where it says, recently we identified an error that inadvertently suspended several user accounts. The reason that is interesting in this particular scenario has everything to do with the fact that some people got suspension letters and suspension emails. Others did not. But there's a distinct difference between suspended and just full on closed. And so some people are like, no, I didn't get that email, but like my account's terminated. Oh, my account's suspended. So I think somewhere along the line, Redbubble may have been cracking down on current or certain content creators. Certain content creators. And in the midst of it, there were some people that were collateral damage. So now they say they're working on it. They say they're looking to fix it. So the question is, will you still have an account when this is all cleared up? If you do not, then that may be something to, one, I think it does give a good credence for an appeal, especially the way this was kind of rolled out. And now is a good time to examine two things. This is not the time, if this clears up and you are indeed suspended or your account's been closed, this is not the time to take the same infringing designs and go to another platform. I think that 2021 will indeed be the year of the true crackdown on infringers. And I got to be honest, I could not be more excited about that. Have people blurred the line? Have we all blurred the line or at least thought about it? Yeah, I try to keep a very clean account. And with the exception of somebody coming in, like I've gotten emails from Redbubble in the past where someone has trademarked something and then there's been a dispute, but it wasn't trademarked when it was put up. And those are the type of things that if it is indeed a genuine infringement, that's one thing. But those are the types of things that groups like the trademark watchdogs fight against. Those frivolous lawsuits those frivolous trademarks that really impede our ability to do business. Shout out to Ohio State for trying to trademark the. Anyway, so I think an interesting side effect of this is that this made me actually go and look at other platforms that I had not paid attention to in quite a while. I did a few weeks ago a podcast about how I inadvertently made $75 on Spreadshirt and forgot completely about it. I got an email saying, hey, you made another sale on Spreadshirt. I'm like, another one? I don't even know my login. And then it turns out that when I was beta testing the Merch Titans automation software a couple of years ago, I did make a Spreadshirt account and I loaded some designs on there and just kind of sat them there. And they had been making sales, but because everything was going into my promotions folder on Gmail, I had no clue. And so the payout was going to my PayPal, but I don't check my PayPal regularly. So imagine my surprise when I look up and I'm like, oh, I'm $75 richer because of Spreadshirt. So shout out to you, Spreadshirt, for your amazing organic traffic and your amazing consumer base. I would love to get one of the Spreadshirt folks on to talk about it. But so yeah, it made me go and it made me look up my Teepublic account. And of course, again, not checking my PayPal, not seeing, I was like, oh, I got to pay out here, I got to pay out there. I have two Teepublic accounts, and one of them doesn't sell at all because I don't have anything loaded. The other one I was doing right before I got into merch. And this is a lesson to all you new merchers out there. If a platform is making you money, I understand that there is a want to put all of your energy into Merch by Amazon because it is the king of print on demand right now. I understand that. I'm not stupid. I'm not blind to it. I see it every time. What I make at this point, what I make on merch in a day is probably what I would make on Redbubble in a month or 2 months. So I get it. And it's very tempting to put all of your energy into that platform. But what happens when merch is slow? What happens when you are in a position where you're in the lower tier and you can't upload those? Oh, just made a sale. I need to dig into that niche a little bit more. What happens when you make a sale and oh, okay. Interesting. What happens when merch is slow or you're in a lower tier and you can't upload that much, or you can't spread out the niches that much, this is the time that you do put your energy into those other platforms, or you designate time. Because let's be honest, most of us, when it comes to merch, if we're not researching and we're not uploading, we're really spending our time logging in to see if we got another sale. That's just the honest truth. So why not spend that time? You know what? Let me do 3 uploads on Redbubble. Let me do a series of uploads on Teepublic, because Teepublic still has that bulk uploader that I absolutely love, which I did at like 3 o'clock this morning. I put in like 30 designs at once. No, it was 20. It was 20, not 30. But so anyway, this inspired me to go to my Teepublic account. I look up and I'm like, oh, I have $3.50 coming in for the month of January. And then I just start looking up more stuff Teepublic to find out that people are again upset about Teepublic. Now, look, this has been covered in the last couple of weeks on other channels. This has been covered. This is nothing new. People are like, I cannot search my stuff on Teepublic. And Teepublic makes it very clear that, listen, you can put your stuff on our platform, but we have a very curated list and we have a very curated consumer base. So the things that are searchable are the things that are consistent with the consumer base that we have. They are very much so into very detailed graphic designs. This is not to say that scale designs cannot sell on Teepublic, because I have sold scale designs on Teepublic. I really have. But I will also say that those scale designs were not text-based. They were very graphic. They were very graphic design. As a matter of fact, if you want to know what the actual design is, I'll give it to you. If you go to my YouTube channel, if you go to the intro, the intro video that I have for the channel, it's in the intro video. So that's a little hidden nugget. And that design scaled, sold very well. As a matter of fact, with the exception of one, all of the ones they sold, all the ones that I scaled on it sold multiple times. So it is very graphic based. So now you can contact them and request to be searchable, but there are certain things that they're going to ask. And these are just things that you should want to do anyway. I go and I just kind of look around and I see some of these Teepublic stores, and I'm on it now. I'm looking at my storefront. Things like adding a banner. You have a storefront for a reason. So adding a banner, adding a profile picture. These are things that that will make your store searchable. They have a certain look and a certain standard, and they want you to actually abide by that. And I don't think that that is wrong. And when you abide by that, they will absolutely reward you with sales. Good trade-off, right? Great trade-off. So I don't think that that's too out of the way. So yeah, and while that did inspire me to do that, I went ahead and loaded like 20 more bulk designs on there. I'm a big believer in staying in what sells, and so it's very similar. It's an updated version of what I did before, still a graphic-based tee, but it's still scaled, and you get a chance to hit more customers that way. So yeah, that's it for Teepublic. And finally, in the process of doing all this, and I still check. I know, look, I've been called the Teespring guy before. That's totally fine. I still believe in Teespring. Sorry, I do. Teespring has actually rebranded themselves as Spring. Now, I've said this on this channel 1,000 times. I've said it on Merch Talk. I've said it on Merch Money. I've said it anytime that the subject of Teespring comes up. Teespring knows that their organic traffic sucks. That's not what they do. It's just not. So they have actually rebranded, and they are rebranding themselves as Spring. I know, right? So they're doing what has worked for them for years. Create with Spring, sell on social. Now, this is what I mean by it. And I've said this before. I've only legitimately met 2 people who have done 7 figures on Merch by Amazon. We cannot forget that for the longest, Teespring was the undisputed king of print on demand. Why? Because Teespring did the campaigns, and they usually had the people who were running these Facebook ads. There was a Teespring style of t-shirt. This was the platform where you would see those t-shirt ads pop up all the time. It's how a lot of us got our start in print on demand. I have met several $1 million merchants on the Teespring platform. When the Facebook ads started to go down a bit and more Shopify centered stores and WooCommerce centered stores started to rise there, Teespring pivoted. They started doing a lot more interaction with Instagram, which was cool for a while, but everyone has pretty much caught up. Where they changed the game, in my opinion, and made themselves not only relevant, but really increased themselves, was their merch desk integration with YouTube. Now, first and foremost, in order to even get the merch desk integration, you have to have 10,000 subscribers. So they are already targeting creators who have a significant fan base going into it. And so this allows them to sell all of this type of merch, and you see it. I see it. All the news outlets I watch, they got their merch desks, and you know these people will otherwise not have anything to do with print on demand, and if they did, they damn sure wouldn't be doing it with Teespring. But this worked out for them, and it's worked out for them very well. So they say, you know what, we're going to rebrand, we're going to double up on it, and we're going to make it happen that way. So they have a couple of new integrations that they are in the works with, and some that are existing. Obviously, their merch desk with YouTube, which has been highly successful for them. They will continue. They are, and I think the buy on Twitch option is already available, as well as Instagram. I know because, again, Instagram kind of took the place of Facebook for them in terms of engagement. But they're also taking waitlist signups for their integration with TikTok. And I'll be honest, this particularly has me interested because if you are following me on my other social accounts, you know that on TikTok, I actually do design tutorials. So to be able to sell that finished product on TikTok, that's even better. That's perfect. So I've already joined the wait list. I am excited about this. I'm hoping, because I've done a couple of really nice videos about Teespring and I've been selling with them for 5 years now, that they may say, hey, Nick, let's just go ahead and do it. Let's go ahead and do it. But in addition to that, they've gotten into the digital product space, and they've always had storefronts, and now they're doing custom stores. So they are entering that space, that kind of Squarespace, Wix, WooCommerce, Shopify space. I don't think that anybody at this point will ever really topple Shopify. It's going to be ridiculously hard to do that. But you got to admit that there is an advantage of doing it with Teespring, because if somebody buys that shirt, it's not charging your credit card. No, it's going right to Teespring system. They're going to ship it out. So for somebody who has no money other than to maybe invest in a little bit of marketing and the design, Spring now is becoming a viable option again. And to be completely honest with you, I'm seriously contemplating making my digital download store on Spring. I've started with it on Etsy, and it's fine, but I have a curated list of folks that I sell these specific type of designs to. So I'm thinking about importing that over to Spring and just seeing how it works out. But again, I call it what you want. Call me a Teespring guy or Spring guy now, whatever. Doesn't matter, because the reality is you want to have the opportunity to sell as much product as you possibly can. And so I'm excited at all this merch news that comes out. And I'm excited that it's not all centered in Merch by Amazon. So I say go for it. If you're not selling on any of these platforms, my gosh, I need you to get with the program. So that's pretty much it for today, guys. Don't forget, like, share, and subscribe. Same thing on the podcast version. And I will also say this, because I don't really do the whole, I'm not monetized on YouTube. I stopped taking sponsors for a while on the 4554 podcast, and I've never taken them on there. But if you get any value from this, you can, if you're watching on YouTube, you can click the link below. And hey, buy me a cup of coffee. It's buymeacoffee.com/Nick Eden if you're listening on the YouTube version. On the podcast version. If you're on YouTube, click the link below. It'll take you right to it. I would love your support. These things are not easy to do. I'm doing 2 podcasts a week. IG Live on Instagram, and all my design tutorials. So it's not easy to do. So I would really and truly appreciate the support, you know. And if you don't, I understand that as well. I still enjoy bringing this content to you. I will still continue to bring this content to you as long as I can. But I will say, buying me a cup of coffee does actually make this thing move a lot smoother. So again, that's it. Don't forget, y'all, take care. I'll see you next week, next time, and make a lot of money in merch.